But first, we're going to bring in our first guest pretty quickly into it. It's someone you know quite well from your time in the Ireland camps over the years. She's been in the National League with you for the last number of years. She's played pretty much everywhere. She's had spells abroad in Norway on a professional, semi-professional basis as well. And she's announced her retirement, but she's come back as a coach this season. And I'm delighted to introduce Marie Curtin to the show. Marie, you're very, very welcome.
Thanks, guys. Great to be on.
Now, Marie, you're on the coaching staff of Treaty this year, having played for them last year. You've played in a couple of different roles with a couple of different clubs over the last few years in the Women's National League. How much are you excited by the prospect of coaching this season?
Yeah, so Breifne, ever since doing the UEFA B, I definitely got the coaching bug. It's exciting now to get straight into it. I suppose the last couple of years I was looking to get into coaching more so in a team environment. I've done a lot of kind of one-on-one coaching and cover coaching, which is really on small-sided stuff on the technical aspect of the game. So I was excited to get into a team aspect again. And yeah, so it's really great. I'm straight in there with Treaty. The last few years I've been really I've been, I suppose, almost like a coach on the fields, given my experience and given my time in the league. So yeah, it's good to finally make that transition over now. And yeah, it feels natural, really. It's just take the playing away, and it's just nice to be able to focus completely on the girls and on their development. And that's the exciting thing about it for me.
Yeah, I suppose in terms of the playing side of it, how was last season for you? Because obviously you retired at the end of it. You've been around a while. We won't throw any ages out there, but how was last season? How did you find it physically?
Physically, it was good. Like, it was a weird season in a way with the disruptions with COVID. At the same time, it was great to be able to have a season given the circumstances. So we were really privileged to be able to have a season. Not too many athletes were allowed to play, so it was great to play. I think everyone just appreciated that bit more, just being out there last season. Playing wise, you know, we had some good spells in the season. We had some bad spells. We're still a very young outfit. We're a brand new club, as you know. First year with Treaty United last year. So there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of exciting things happening for the club. So it's great. And from a playing perspective, you know, happy to step down now. There's, you know, as you said, I've been around quite a while now. I've played in America, played in Norway. I've, you know, really dedicated my life to sport for a long time. So it's nice to be able to kind of sit back now and let the young people of this region, you know, take it from here now, because there's great talent in the region, and hoping that we can kick this on and really just bring up the level in the area.
I suppose I'll jump in here, Mary. Look, we played against you last season. Obviously, in pre-season, we played a game against you, and I remember thinking, similar to what you've spoken about before, you were kind of a leader on the pitch. So for me, seeing such an experienced player like yourself, and obviously I've played with you over the years and seen how good you are and how well you read the game, it's really good to see that you're slotting into a coaching position in a team that you've played in. But just from a player's point of view, a player who maybe has played in the league and might be thinking about going into coaching, how have you found the transition? Do you think some of the young girls kind of still look at you as a player to a certain extent, or do you feel like you kind of have that little bit more authority now that you're not really within the kind of playing environment? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it was an interesting one. I suppose you do run that risk always going from player to coach. I think just in the scenario that we had, like, there was such an age gap between the younger girls and me, and I suppose even, yeah, like they've always, even the girls who've been in the squads with Limerick FC and Treaty the last couple of years, you know, they've always kind of looked at me. They know the experience that I have. And I think when you get to this age, Stephanie, you know yourself, when you've been around the block, like, you just.
I know myself. I'm not a young Mary.
Territory now.
Better watch my words. When you've been around like that, you do have a little bit more. I suppose you have a little bit more authority anyway. your words do mean more. You've been around, you've experienced more. So yeah, I think I found the transition has been good. I feel like it's been quite natural. So I think you'll have nothing to worry about, Stephanie, when that time comes.
Treaty are in a very unique situation within Irish football because they started out effectively as a women's club at senior level, fielding a women's team last year, and now they've added the men's. Is there a power play within the club, or is it very much just everyone shoulder to the wheel and just supporting the fact that the senior football for both men and women now in the region?
Not at all, Breif. So we're just looking for equality in the club, and it's been a conversation that we've always had within the club, that whatever we do, that we, as much where possible, and it can be difficult with finances of a new club and everything, but where possible, that we are across the board level in what we're doing. So yeah, like even talking about an academy team and stuff, we just want that same opportunity, boys, girls. Like we really, that's been a big focus, I think, for this club, and it's nice to have a blank canvas in a way that we can do that. In terms of us having a women's team before a men's team, yeah, it's been, I don't know if there's been any club that has done that, especially not in Ireland. But yeah, look, it's a unique position, but yeah, we're just looking to, as a club, just definitely just keep it level across the board. There's so much talk about it now, as you know. There's never been more talk about equality in the game, and it's almost like we're starting a new culture among sport, because we all know of the differences and the kind of struggles of women athletes in this country. So it's great to see that. I really do believe that is finally changing.
Just on that, Mary, like I've obviously played in the league. You play with Cork, you play with Treaty, you've kind of been in and around the league here in Ireland, and you've been abroad and played in kind of different leagues. So your experience in terms of knowing the different structure of different leagues within Europe and America and the college systems and everything like that. But from my point of view, coming back into the league last year, I just kind of felt like so much, there's a lot being done, but I feel like so much is still the same from when the league started in 2011. Like, do you think that, or not do you think, but what do you think can be done better to really push the league onto a better standing? Because I do think the players are there. I think when you look at the players that have been in the league and gone away, I just think we need to kind of try and make a better platform for our younger players. I think if you look at the likes of Ellen Malloy, she's 16, 17, she's not going to go to England and play straight away. Like, how can we make the league here in Ireland a little bit better, do you think? Because as I said, I think from my own experience, being here in 2011 and being here now, I don't think a whole lot has changed.
Yeah, so Stephanie, it's great that we're having these types of conversations, because these are the types of conversations needed to be had. It's when you see players even going over to play in Scotland, like, I think, well done for you, brilliant. But like, I really don't think as a league we should be losing players to Scotland. No disrespect to Scotland, but for a country that's similar population size and a similar culture, I really don't, like, we need to be doing better. Now I feel like this last year, Stephanie, I feel like things are changing. It's going to be a slow change, in that yes, for the first time since the league, and I've been there since 2011, since we were to start this elite league as well. There's been so much more in the media, so much more emphasis on women's sports. Now, of course, you can attribute that to the 2020 20 by 20 campaign. So by the Irish Federation of Sport, like, that's been absolutely huge, absolutely huge. So yeah, I feel like the start of it, like, we need more in the media, we need more promotion of the game. The next thing now, I really would be looking for this year, and it's great to see that the sponsor that have come in Airtricity. Now, where do we make this league really attractive to maybe not even people in the women's football world, but in the football world in general, and even outside that? So how do we make it attractive? So you look at how we how we make this league accessible. So you're looking at YouTube, you're looking at podcasts like this, you're looking at the digital marketing that is happening for the league and surrounding the league. It could be from media outlets, but like we need to get more clips of our players playing. We need to get quality goals. We need to get quality defending. We need to get quality shot saves. You know, like the lot. We need to see more, and I'd also like to see more of players of actually getting to know the players. You know, there's a brilliant app in England, the FA Player, and they have exactly for the men's as they do for the women. So like you get to find out more about the behind the scenes kind of stuff, and like, you know, that is interesting for any aspiring young player. You know, that is interesting for people outside of football that want to see this insight. So it's really about accessible, making the league more accessible, you know, making it attractive as well. So the digital marketing of this will be huge. I'm waiting to see now, and like you know, when you've been around a lot, like you're waiting for things to improve, to get better all the time, and you know, it's just a matter of seeing results now. And you know, I don't care who's involved, you just want to see results, and you want to see the thing improve. So yeah, for me, it is changing now. I feel it is changing, and then the next thing is to make it more attractive, because when you make the thing more attractive, you need to build up an audience. So when you build up an audience, yes, now sponsors are listening. Now we're getting some more money in the game. Now I've been on the business side of things, and you know, I know that for a fact that you will get business interest. You will get businesses wanting to support this league. Women's sport is hot right now, and you like the league will get more, but it needs to be attractive first. So that's kind of my take on it right now. But I'm waiting, and I'm hoping to see, you know, just more the digital marketing side, that like this is really good. And we saw it, I don't know if you noticed it too, Stephanie, but the end of last season, you know, we saw, you know, the WNL awards and stuff, and you know, the digital stuff behind it, the posters, the linking with RTE and that, like, you know, that's good. That's what we want to see. And it goes then beyond that to the branding, you know, the consistent branding of it, the personality of the brands. And you know, I think next level on again will be, you know, really clubs take not only the league making this really attractive, but then next level on, how do we get our clubs making it attractive, for each and every club to making this really, really attractive. And you can just, you know, it's not reinventing the wheel. We have a great example in the women's league in England right now, like what they're doing. A lot, the women's game is really in a lot of clubs I know in England, it's the same. I suppose the women's and the men's are in the same league, and it's like it's across, like it's seen as
they're all
equal,
promoted
and
together. They're all like Man City,
exactly, yeah,
the women. This
same umbrella.
video a couple of years ago where they showed interlinking videos of the men's and women's, and it was like, it's not men's football, it's not women's football, it's football. And I thought that was so just full of potential to really grow the women's game. And I suppose that's why I approached Steph about doing this, because I think this is needed. I think some of the offerings that are out there just aren't of the level that are required to really showcase the talent. And we all know, anyone watching this at the early stages of this podcast is going to know the talent in the league. You've mentioned a few names, Ellen Malloy and all those coming up, and yourselves 10, 12-ish years later, senior internationals, full of experience, lots of talent. So I think it's great to hear a player saying that, a player / coach saying that. I think it's time that the clubs step up as well, not expected to be done for them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
And I think Mary, sorry for cutting across here, I think you touched on it. And I think from my point of view, like, I think it's great to see electricity coming in. I think it's great to see them trying to make the league a little bit more marketable, because I think that's what's been missing. I think if you want companies to come in and put money into the league, they need to see what they're getting back from it. And I think these things, like as you said, the awards being on TV last year, and the live streaming's now coming this season for every game, that's an excellent step forward in my opinion. I think it puts the game out there for everybody to see it. But just from my point of view, I remember being at the inaugural launch for the league, and it was the same things being talked about. So from my point of view, looking at these young players coming up, I don't want them to be sitting here in 10 years' time and kind of going, oh yeah, it's getting there. So I just think, as you say, women's football and putting women, sportswomen out there, I think that really is kind of in now. Everyone's trying to do it. So I think we need to push for it to happen now more than ever, rather than letting it kind of peter out and, let it kind of be further down the road before it actually happens. So I think, as I said, it's going in the right direction, but I really hope this season is a real change for that, and we can see the Women's National League really getting the exposure that it deserves.
I better jump in here because we are going way over time for what we planned on this segment, and we've
gone
way
started on this.
I think you were so passionate about Mary that we just wanted to let you run with it. In terms of, I suppose, your own role in Treaty this year, let's bring it back locally again. I was going to ask you for loads of dirt on Steph as well that you could out national camps over the years. And there is one story I want you to tell from the World University Games. It's where we met maybe 11, 12 years ago. Or more, probably 2007. There was fun with TUEs and stuff like that. And do you want to talk about it, or we just leave it out there?
Well, it all happened so quickly for me. And thank you for bringing this up, Breifne, really.
Well, I figured the statute of limitations is well past on an offence in 2007. It wasn't even an offence, but it was just a funny incident. Talk about it.
The whole thing happened so quickly. I got sick about a week before. There was confusion, I know, back and forth between doctors and stuff, and obviously I let the team know that I was sick and I had to go on antibiotics, and I was quite sick. I had quite a chest infection, so there was what was prescribed was on the panic list, but I suppose it just shows my lack of education around that at that time. But just within the space of a week, we're about to set off on a trip to Bangkok, and so all this happens, and so we had some difficulty over there, Breifne, and so it ended up being more of a holiday than a playing experience for me.
Reach you out of the athletes' village at about late one night, put you in a hotel so you couldn't get drug tested. It was a genuine mistake. You didn't play any games, so there was no rules broken, but you were named in the squad, and I think we had to. We moved you down to a hotel down the road for 2 weeks in Bangkok.
Down with Noel King's family for 2 weeks.
Absolutely. It was just one of those. But it shows kind of the advances that have come on as well in terms of players' awareness of that what they put in their body is their own responsibility as well. Can you give us any dirt on Steph before you leave us?
I wish you gave me some preparation on this. Look, Stephanie's been the ultimate professional all the time I've known her. We have quite a few trips that we've shared together. We would play it around the same time, and I don't really have too much on Stephanie. She was always the ultimate professional for me.
Yeah, well, listen, we'll have a little chat about when you leave. Listen, Mary, the very best of luck in the new role in Treaty. It's going to be great to watch the season progress and see how you get on down there. It's a new management team, and it's a kind of a new club with the men coming on board. It's given it a bit of a lift as well. So the very best of luck for the whole season, and we'll be catching up with you and your teams and your colleagues down there over the course of the year.
Good stuff. Absolutely. Well done, guys, and best of luck with the podcast too.